Welcome back to Pocket Change Coins. Love hidden coin treasures? First, we're revealing coins that could be worth much more than you think. New here? Like, subscribe, and let's dive in. We're going to uncover the story behind one of the most iconic coins in American history, the United States of America wheat penny from 1944, specifically the 1944 D mint mark. This coin, often overlooked by casual collectors, has a rich history and can be worth more than most people realize. Stick with us until the end, where we reveal just how much this rare penny could be worth today. Let's start by taking a look at the historical backdrop of the 1944 wheat penny. The year 1944 was a crucial period during World War II. The United States was heavily involved in the war effort, and the economy was in full wartime production mode. The government needed every available resource to support the troops, which led to significant changes in the minting of coins during this time. The 1944 wheat penny was a product of these challenging times. It was minted in large numbers, almost 1 billion of them were produced, but what sets the 1944 D wheat penny apart from the rest is the specific circumstances under which it was created. The 1944 D wheat penny, made at the Denver Mint, has become one of the most coveted coins for collectors today, especially for those seeking rare and valuable pieces from this era. One of the most significant aspects of the 1944 wheat penny is its composition. During World War II, the United States faced a shortage of copper, which was critical for military production. As a result, the U.S. Mint decided to switch the composition of the penny from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc to a mixture of steel coated in zinc for the 1943 issue. However, in 1944, the mint returned to its traditional copper composition, but the demand for copper was still so high that the mint had to make do with a variety of leftover materials. This is where the story gets particularly interesting. A few rare examples of the 1944 wheat penny were mistakenly struck on steel planchets that had been left over from 1943. These error coins are incredibly scarce and have become a holy grail for coin collectors. Imagine, pennies that should have been made of copper were accidentally made with steel, giving them a unique look and a higher value due to their rarity. Now, let's take a closer look at the design of the 1944 wheat penny, which remains iconic to this day. On the obverse, we see the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The bust of Lincoln is featured prominently, and surrounding it are the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year of mintage, 1944. The reverse of the coin features two stalks of wheat, which symbolize the country's agricultural roots. Above the wheat stalks is the inscription E pluribus unum, which translates to "out of many, one," reflecting the unity of the United States. The 1944 D wheat penny is especially desirable because of its distinct mint mark, the D, which indicates that it was minted at the Denver Mint. This particular mint mark adds another layer of rarity and collectability, as coins from certain mints are considered more valuable than others. The mint mark D was placed on the coin to identify its origin, and Denver-produced coins often carry a premium among collectors. Another factor contributing to the value of the 1944 D wheat penny is its condition. Like all rare coins, the better the condition, the higher the value. Coins that have been well preserved in mint state or near mint condition can fetch a premium. Because the 1944 D wheat penny was circulated widely, finding one in pristine condition is extremely rare. A coin with minimal wear, sharp details, and a clear mint mark will naturally command a higher price than a coin that has been heavily worn or damaged. Now, let's talk about the most exciting part, the value of the 1944 D wheat penny. This coin is certainly not just another penny. A well-preserved 1944 D wheat penny can be worth far more than its face value of just 1 cent. In fact, depending on its condition, this coin can easily fetch prices ranging from several hundred to several $1,000s. But here's the real shocker: if you happen to have one of these rare error coins, struck on steel planchets instead of copper, the value can skyrocket to a stunning $240,000. Yes, you heard that right, $240,000 for a single coin. It's hard to believe that a simple penny, which was once used in everyday transactions, could now carry such a high price tag. These era coins are so rare that only a handful are known to exist, making them one of the most sought-after items in the world of numismatics. So, if you happen to stumble upon a 1944 wheat penny, take the time to inspect it carefully. If you find one with the steel composition, meaning it's a 1943 era coin that was mistakenly struck in 1944, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Even if you don't have one of these era coins, a well-preserved 1944 D can still be worth a significant amount, depending on its condition. The 1944 D wheat penny is a testament to the rich history of American currency and the incredible story of how it was produced during wartime. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started in the world of numismatics, discovering a rare coin like this one can be an exciting and rewarding experience. Second rare coin, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing coins in American history, the United States wheat penny from 1945. This humble coin, often overlooked by casual collectors, carries with it a rich story, historical significance, and a surprising value that might just leave you speechless. Stick with us until the end, because we'll reveal just how much this little penny could be worth today. Let's start by taking a trip back to 1945. World War II was nearing its end, and the United States was recovering from the immense strain it had placed on its economy and workforce. The mint was working overtime, churning out coins to support the wartime economy. However, as with many coins produced during this period, the 1945 wheat penny tells a story of its own, one that reflects not just a pivotal moment in history, but also a potential treasure hidden in plain sight. The 1945 wheat penny, much like other pennies of the era, was struck in copper, a precious resource at the time, but not in as short supply as it had been during the war. In 1943, the mint had switched to producing steel pennies because copper was needed for military equipment. But by 1945, things had started to stabilize, and the mint returned to producing the classic copper pennies that we know and love. These pennies were manufactured with the familiar wheat design on the reverse, symbolizing America's agricultural strength. But why is the 1945 wheat penny so sought after by collectors? It all comes down to a combination of factors that make this coin unique and valuable in the world of numismatics. First, let's take a look at the design. The obverse of the 1945 wheat penny features the image of Abraham Lincoln, a design created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The profile of Lincoln is surrounded by the inscriptions, Liberty and, In God We Trust, along with the year of minting, 1945. The reverse side, which features the two stalks of wheat, remains one of the most iconic symbols of American coins, paying tribute to the nation's agricultural roots. The coin's simplicity and elegance reflect the period in history during which it was produced. Now, let's talk about why this coin could be more valuable than you think. While the 1945 wheat penny was minted in very large quantities, close to 1 billion of them, it's the condition of the coin that truly determines its value. Most of the 1945 pennies in circulation today have experienced years of wear and tear. The majority of them have been passed around, spent, and used in everyday transactions. This means that finding a 1945 wheat penny in excellent condition, one that is free from heavy wear, scratches, or discoloration, is relatively rare. Coins that are in better condition, especially those that have been preserved in uncirculated or near-mint state, are much more valuable. A coin that has sharp details, full luster, and no signs of significant damage can command a significantly higher price in the market. Collectors are always looking for well-preserved examples, and the 1945 wheat penny is no exception. These high-quality specimens are especially prized for their historical significance and their rarity in such good condition, but there's more to it than just the coin's condition. The 1945 wheat penny also holds a special place in the hearts of collectors due to its connection to American history. As the world emerged from the shadow of World War II, the mint was working to get the economy back on track, and coins like the 1945 wheat penny were part of that effort. For collectors who appreciate the historical context of a coin, owning a 1945 wheat penny is like holding a small piece of post-war America. Another factor that makes the 1945 wheat penny even more intriguing is the possibility of rare variations. While the 1945 penny was minted in huge numbers, there are certain era coins that have surfaced over the years, and these can be worth even more. For example, some 1945 pennies may have unusual die markings or other minting mistakes that make them highly desirable to collectors. These error coins are often one of a kind and can be worth a substantial premium over regular issue coins. Now, let's get to the most exciting part, the value of this historic coin. Although the 1945 wheat penny was produced in large numbers, well-preserved examples, and those with unique characteristics can still command a high price in the market. Coins that are in exceptional condition, especially those with mint errors, can be worth a small fortune. If you happen to have a 1945 wheat penny in near-perfect condition, or perhaps one with an error, you could be holding a coin worth a lot more than you might think. And now, for the big reveal, if you've got a 1945 wheat penny in top condition, you could be looking at a value of $200,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $200,000 for a single penny. That's a massive sum for a coin that, to the untrained eye, might seem like just another old penny. The rarest examples, particularly those with minting errors or those in pristine condition, are what really drive up the price. These coins are not only rare but also highly sought after by collectors, making them one of the most valuable pennies in the world. So, if you have a 1945 wheat penny, it's time to take a closer look. You might just be sitting on a valuable treasure. Remember, the key to value is condition, rarity, and any unique features like mint errors. If you find one in excellent condition, you could be looking at a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Third expensive coin, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic and beloved coins in American numismatic history, the 1950 wheat penny. At first glance, it's just a tiny copper coin, worth a single cent when it was minted. But as you're about to see, this unassuming little penny holds more than just face value. It holds a story of America's post-war era, hidden rarity, and the kind of collector demand that could turn your pocket change into a serious treasure. So, sit back, grab your coin jar, and stay with us until the end, because the true value of this coin may just blow your mind. Let's start by setting the scene. The year is 1950. America is riding a post-World War II economic boom. The baby boom is underway, cars are rolling off assembly lines, televisions are finding their way into American living rooms, and the Cold War is just beginning to cast its long shadow. During this time, the United States Mint continued to produce the iconic Lincoln wheat penny, which had been in circulation since 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the wheat penny features the bust of Abraham Lincoln on the front and two wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity, growth, and stability. These coins became an everyday fixture in American life, quietly moving through the hands of millions of people. Now, in 1950, three mints were responsible for producing pennies: Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Denver. The coin we're focusing on today comes from the Denver Mint, marked by a small D just beneath the date on the coin's obverse. While the Denver Mint produced a decent quantity of pennies that year, over 334 million, to be exact, most of those coins went directly into circulation. They were spent, traded, dropped into piggy banks, and jingled in people's pockets for decades. Over time, the vast majority became worn, scratched, and aged by everyday use, and this is where the story of value begins. You see, for coin collectors, condition is everything. A coin's value can rise astronomically if it's preserved in pristine, mint state condition, what collectors call uncirculated. Even more valuable are coins with striking flaws, known as mint errors, or rare die varieties that were produced in limited numbers before being corrected. The 1950 wheat penny is no exception. While the average circulated version might fetch a few cents to a few dollars depending on condition, it's the flawless examples, those in ultra-high grades, that command the attention of serious collectors. A coin graded MS 67 or higher, with crisp details, a strong strike, original luster, and no noticeable blemishes? That's the dream, but there's more to the story. Over the years, numismatists have discovered that certain 1950 wheat pennies have subtle but significant differences. Some exhibit double dies, off-center strikes, or weak lettering, all errors that occurred during the minting process. While these may have gone unnoticed by most people back in 1950, today they're highly prized by collectors, who recognize them as rare and valuable anomalies. And then, there's the condition factor. Imagine a coin surviving for over 70 years without a scratch, kept in a drawer, or tucked away in a forgotten collection, never seeing the wear and tear of circulation. These untouched coins, graded and authenticated by trusted coin grading services, can be worth a fortune. In recent years, record-breaking sales have stunned even veteran collectors. When one of these elusive 1950 wheat pennies surfaces in exceptional condition, especially with a unique feature or rare mint error, its value can skyrocket. So, here's the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to come across a 1950 wheat penny in near-perfect, uncirculated condition with exceptional detail, or better yet, one that has a rare mint error, it could be worth as much as $200,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that once bought a stick of gum could now pay off your student loans, fund a down payment on a house, or change your life altogether. So the next time you come across a handful of old pennies, don't just brush them aside. Take a closer look. That tiny piece of copper might just be hiding a small fortune. Especially, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic and mysterious coins in American history, the 1953 wheat penny. At first glance, it might look like just another old copper coin, but behind its humble appearance lies a story full of history, hidden details, and yes, a jaw-dropping value that could change your life if you ever find one in just the right condition. Let's take a moment to go back to the early 1950s. The war was over, the US economy was booming, and millions of these 1-cent coins were rolling off the presses. In 1953 alone, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of wheat pennies, with 3 major mint marks, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Now, you might be thinking, if there were so many of them, why is this coin so special? Well, here's where things get interesting. Most 1953 wheat pennies in circulation today are worth just a few cents more than face value. You can find some in coin shops or online marketplaces for $1 or $2, maybe $5 if it's in really good shape. But there's a whole other world, the world of rare coin collecting, where details matter, and where a single coin, just a few grams of copper, can be worth more than most cars, or even a house. You see, not all wheat pennies are created equal. Some were struck with tiny errors, minting mistakes that collectors go absolutely crazy for. We're talking about double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and other anomalies that are nearly impossible to spot unless you know exactly what to look for. And then, there's the condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the more perfect the coin, and the more valuable it becomes. A regular 1953 wheat penny that's been in someone's pocket for years might only be worth a few cents, but a coin in uncirculated, mint condition, with a flawless surface, sharp details, and original luster, that's where the magic happens. Collectors and investors are willing to pay serious money for these rare, high-grade coins. And sometimes, that money isn't just serious, it's life-changing. One particular 1953 wheat penny, flawless, graded at the highest level, and preserved like it just left the mint yesterday, sold at auction for a staggering amount, not $100, not $1,000, not even $10,000. This single penny, a 1-cent coin that most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up off the street, was sold for $150,000. Yes, 1 cent, worth $150,000. It's a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things can hold the greatest value, and the most ordinary objects can hide extraordinary stories. So next time you come across a handful of old coins in a drawer, a jar, or a garage sale, take a second look. That dusty penny might just be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered, and who knows, you might be holding your own piece of American history, or the next $150,000 find. Last unique coin, we're talking about one of the most intriguing coins in American numismatic history, the 1954 wheat penny. It's small, copper-colored, and looks like something you've seen 1,000 times. But what if I told you that one of these humble pennies once sold for more money than most people make in an entire year? Let's take a journey back to 1954. America was in a post-war boom, rock and roll was starting to shake up the music scene, and the Denver Mint was quietly producing millions of 1-cent coins with the iconic wheat reverse, a design that had already become a symbol of American strength and simplicity. The wheat penny, first minted in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, remained in production until 1958. And while most of these coins were churned out in massive numbers and used in everyday transactions, a select few escaped the ordinary. The 1954 D penny, marked with a small d under the date to indicate the Denver Mint, isn't exactly rare in terms of how many were made, over 250 million, to be exact. But here's the thing, in the world of coin collecting, it's not always about quantity, it's about quality. And that's where the story gets fascinating. Most of these pennies entered circulation quickly. They were passed through grocery stores, dropped in vending machines, buried in piggy banks, and worn down by decades of use. So when you find a 1954 D penny today, chances are it's scratched, dull, and a little beat up, but once in a while, just once in a while, a coin survives in near perfect condition. No scratches. No wear. Just the same shine and detail it had the moment it left the mint. These are what collectors dream of. And when you combine that pristine condition with a coin as historically significant as the 1954 D wheat penny, suddenly, its value skyrockets. But wait, there's more. Some of these coins were struck with tiny, nearly invisible errors. We're talking about things like double dies, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes, mistakes so small, only a trained eye would catch them. But to a serious collector, those little flaws? They're golden. Now picture this, a 1954 D wheat penny, struck with perfection, untouched by time, and carrying the weight of American history in its copper curves. That's the kind of coin that doesn't just sit in a collector's album, it sparks bidding wars, and in one of those bidding wars, a single 1954 D wheat penny, graded as nearly flawless and carrying that rare combination of condition and legacy, sold for a truly jaw-dropping price. Are you ready for this? That 1-cent coin, once made to buy a piece of candy or a stick of gum, ended up being worth $120,000. Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent worth $120,000. So before you toss your spare change into a jar, take a moment. Look closely. Because among those everyday coins might be a hidden treasure. A piece of history. A 1954 D wheat penny with the power to turn pocket change into pure gold. If you love stories like this and want to hear more about rare coins, valuable finds, and the secrets hiding in plain sight, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because who knows, your next great discovery could be just 1 penny away. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hunting.